All right, let's start with Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Tyrann, I wanted to ask you a little bit of an off-the-field question. This is the time of year where you're usually doing a lot of charity stuff and appearances. How difficult has it been not be able to do those appearances in person like you usually have been?
Yeah, I mean, it's a blessing that, obviously we're still able to reach a lot of different people. I think one of the biggest things with me is, I always want to be present. I always want to, obviously those kids to feel me, those families to be able to touch me and ask me different questions. So, brother, say that's just the biggest difference. Me not being, as hands-on as I've been in the past.
Let's go next to Harold Kuntz. Go ahead, Harold.
Hey, Tyrann, kind of following up on what Sam just asked, in this time of giving and receiving, you guys have received a lot, but most of you and your teammates are really known for giving. What has it been for you, especially this time of year, to be able to give back, especially to the communities here in Kansas City and also what you do in New Orleans?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody across the world, has really, experienced, some kind of suffering, some kind of setback. I think me being, in the position I am, having a platform I have, just being able to be a blessing to people. It's been such a tough year on so many different people. Like I mentioned, it's all about me just, understanding that, I have some of the things that I've always wanted. And I think it's important for me to always, keep in mind the other people who don't necessarily have that.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Tyrann, wanted to ask you about getting the possibility of getting the #1 playoff seed. What kind of motivation is that for you to get that? And is maybe getting that this year more important than ever, given the fact there's only one team that gets that first round bye? And Brad, I'll have one quick follow-up as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think it's a lot of pressure. A lot of different teams trying to get that #1 seed. I think right now for us it's all about one game at a time. Trying to control, what we could control. We got a pretty good football team. Coming in here this weekend. Offense that's super explosive. So right now I think that's like the only thing I'm focusing on is the Falcons, and then from there is how can we beat the Chargers. So once we get to the playoffs, we'll get there. But I think right now just trying to take it one game at a time, focusing on the things that's actually in front of us, at the moment.
Okay, and you actually answered my other question, so thanks.
Thank you.
Next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Tyrann. The run last year, the defense was really clicking on all cylinders. You yourself had called it championship swagger. It really felt like that was a strong point of the team. Do you feel that you guys are there? And if not, how close are you to getting there again?
Well, I would hope so. I think, we've done a lot of great things defensively. I think we're still reaching, for, really our best game. I still don't think we've put together our best game yet. And I'm hoping that game will come against the Falcons this Sunday, which, like I mentioned, they got great talent on offense, a lot of explosive receivers. I think Matt Ryan can still throw the football, at a high level. And so we'll have that opportunity. We'll have that challenge to kind of go out here and really try our best to put together a defensive game that we all can really be happy about.
Let's go next to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Tyrann, congratulations on being named to the Pro Bowl. You're one of 7, obviously, on the Chiefs roster. How gratifying is it for you to see the amount of Chiefs on the Pro Bowl, and especially for you coming off of last year's Pro Bowl snub?
I mean, it's always cool. I think anytime you get to have that place amongst, the best players in the league, it's always a gratifying feeling. I think for me personally, I always know it's more work to do. The business of football is not about necessarily what you accomplish. It's more so about, what you're going to accomplish in the future. So, obviously Pro Bowl, all those things are behind me. Just focusing on how can I finish the season strong for my teammates and really get in the playoffs and be an effective, defender.
Let's go next to Tyrann Petra. Go ahead, Tyrann.
Tyrann, you said last year, I remember something that stood out was, you said there was a game, I can't remember, that got away, one of the losses. And you said, hey, we want to be out there. We want to finish it on our side of the ball. It was like a real point of pride. And I know, kind of dovetailing off, I think it was Pete talking about where you were in 19. Is it different this year, though? Is it like, hey, we win by 1 point? I know a win's a win, but you know, how do you motivate your, I guess the question I'm poorly asking you is, how do you motivate the guys around you that, you know, okay, winning by 1 point's great, but we might need to play better than we played in a game here once we get to the postseason or playing playoff caliber teams?
Yeah, I think it's, you know, really just comes down to you not getting complacent, you not getting comfortable in the moment. You know, I think we've had a couple chances this season to really close out games defensively. I don't think we were really able to do that. Maybe a couple times we did that. But even going back to the Saints game, I felt like we had an opportunity to kind of win that game, close that game earlier than the offense obviously got out there and shut the door. But I think, you know, defensively, you know, we just got to believe in those moments. You know, we got to believe that we can do it. And I know I believe it. I know a lot of guys believe it. We just have to put it together.
We'll go last to Steve Walls and then Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, Tyrann, an off the field question for you. Week to week, I see you post, you know, on social media about your sessions with Donnie Starkmans, and I'm curious to know how much the meditation has helped you step away from the daily grind and not only help your game but personally as well.
I mean, you know, it helps me out a lot. You know, on a personal note, you know, I mean, football is a big part of my life, so I take it serious. You know, I take it probably too serious sometimes. It's just a game. But I think, you know, being able to kind of step back from the things that you feel like are, you know, your responsibility, and then kind of, you know, understanding, you know, from a bigger picture perspective, that I am truly blessed, and, you know, I do have some of the things that I want, and so not to be too hard on myself, but I mean, I would suggest that for any young player, you know, mostly to really try their best to kind of tap into that meditation, yoga. Because I think for me, it helps me create a balance, you know, for myself.
And we'll go last to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Tyrann, you mentioned the weapons on this Atlanta offense. I want to ask you specifically about Calvin Ridley. What do you make of his game this year?
He's a really underrated receiver. Probably one of the smoothest route runners I've ever studied. I'll probably put him in a category with Beckham as far as just being a natural pass catcher. I think he has that going for him. I mean, you can see this team too. They really believe in this guy. He's become their deep threat. He's become their big play guy, the guy that kind of get them going. So it'd be important for us to kind of ID him, you know, where he is in the formation. And I think he'll play a big part in what they're trying to do to us offensively. So just IDing him. Julio plays. Obviously, he's another guy that really brings the best out of that group offensively. So we'll have our hands full. They got Hayden Hurst at tight end. So they got about 3 or 4 guys that we got to keep an eye on.
T, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.